Now, one thing is for certain revolving around the Oscars 2025 is that they have received a backlash that they have never seen before in the history of the Oscars, and a lot of this has to do with this upcoming movie called Emilia Perez. We'll get into that in just a second, and just how much backlash they are getting over the 13 nominations handed out for this movie. We know that Mel Gibson called them out for this. We know that other actors, other celebrities are beginning to call out the Oscars, the Academy, if you will, for handing out 13 nominations for a movie, a musical, if you will, that really has nothing to do with merit, professionalism, or creativity, or art, but rather to double down on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and seemingly out of spite after President Donald Trump handed out that executive order to abolish DEI. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing that we know about those out there like Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, Jon Voight is that they are now serving as these ambassadors, quote unquote, or these messengers, if you will, over the land of Hollywood, and to really kind of look over what's going on over there, what's going on with the studios, and really just serving as messengers, right? What's interesting, though, is that Sylvester Stallone, and rightfully so, really lashed out toward the Academy, toward the Oscars, after promoting Emilia Perez. Now, you guys may or may not know this, but Emilia Perez is a movie, a musical, that focuses on a drug lord that actually goes through a transitioning, alright? And this is all DEI driven by the Academy, by those showrunners that are actually running the overall presentation. Now, interestingly enough, with the entire woke media and now Hollywood in financial ruin, after doubling down on DEI for so many years, one major development going on now involves more to do with the Oscars pushing their ideology with 13 nominations toward a movie called Emilia Perez. A musical, like I said before, about transitioning and promoting DEI. One crucial update to the backlash surrounding this now involves Sylvester Stallone, who was previously going to, get this, do some funny bits and speeches at the Oscars live on stage, along with serving as one of the announcers. However, it so happened that Stallone was going to end up announcing Emilia Perez for one of the nominations bundled up with other nominations. This was described to be the best actress. Stallone and his team, including his agent and manager, have informed the Academy that not only will Stallone be canceling his bits and comedic-rooted speeches at the Oscars that were planned to be lighthearted history about cinema, but also he is now refusing to serve as a presenter for the group of nominations that includes Emilia Perez as Best Actress, which is a film, by the way, about a drug lord that goes under transition surgery combined with a musical format. This was an ultimatum that Stallone handed out as a way to send a message to Hollywood and the Academy that he won't stand for any ideology or anything to do with DEI, and is now seriously considering not showing up to the Oscars 25, period, for this reason alone. This comes just days after President Donald Trump chose Stallone, Mel Gibson, and Jon Voight as these ambassadors, so to speak, or messengers for the land of Hollywood, and to oversee the areas known for its cinematic roots. Now, Stallone is also doubling down with his ultimatum toward the Academy by convincing those, get this, like Jon Voight and Mel Gibson, to not attend the Oscars 25 as well, and they immediately agreed to take a stand with him on that one. Between Stallone canceling his bits and declining and refusing to present the film Emilia Perez, the showrunners that are actually operating the Oscars are already moving on to another presenter to announce the 13 nominations lined up for Emilia Perez. That is already set up for Best Actress, Best Picture, and so much more. The Academy is also reportedly deeply insulted by Stallone's response and behavior by making such actions and viewed it as an inappropriate behavior coming from an actor of his status. So before I move on, let me just say one thing about Stallone. I say we should all root for Stallone for standing his ground and for really just standing for everybody else, like those of you watching here now that are just so tired of DEI, tired of all this ideological nonsense being thrown on television, either live or pre-recorded, or in movies, or in video games, books, and even in the music industry. I mean, it's everywhere. It's even in regular day-to-day jobs, and you really have to realize how much it really has taken over the country. And we know that BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, I believe it is, really was questioned about all of this, and he refused to answer anything to do with doubling down on DEI. He doesn't want to answer that, but he does want to do that. We all know that. Interestingly enough, though, we have to bring this up, is that Stallone is really making the right move here, especially after getting that opportunity by Donald Trump, by the president, to serve as an ambassador of Hollywood, alright? And I think that this is a necessity at this point, to kind of just show them who he really is at this point, and how he really is one of the true messengers of how Hollywood should operate, how it should be all based on merit, professionalism, creativity, art, over ideology, and it should not be, the other way around. So anyway, on top of all of this, to make matters worse, for the Academy, not so shockingly, many other A-listers were turned off by Stallone's recent ultimatum, not just for this action, but also for agreeing to serve as an ambassador for Hollywood under Trump. The ratings for the Oscars 2025 are expected to go down to a historic low, and it's something that the producers are frantically trying to prevent right now by all means. Now, look, before I say one thing, I gotta say this. When they are trying to prevent a ratings disaster, this isn't gonna help. Doubling down on these 13 nominations for Emilia Perez, which, in case you guys didn't catch it, it is terribly received when it comes to the audience over the critics. The critics are raving about it, not a shocker there, but the audience members on Rotten Tomatoes, for example, they don't like this movie at all. In fact, it is labeled as one of the worst creations of 2025. Now, the ratings for the Oscars 25 are expected to go down that low. In addition to this, Stallone was going to announce, get this, new projects at the Oscars, but decided to choose another time or another place to do so. And it turns out he is now looking to the Joe Rogan podcast to announce a brand new project that he is working on with a new studio group. So whether this is going to be a new series or a new movie, who knows, it is something massive that Stallone is working on and that he is about to announce, on top of the expansion of Tulsa King. Alright, he wants to make this into a mega multi-season show, right? So we already know that Stallone is very passionate about his work. He's very much engaged in his work as an actor, as a producer, whatever have you. He loves to do with the things that he does, and that's why his content, when you're watching something like Tulsa King, it delivers. It truly does deliver. And it's for that reason alone. He has a passion. He's not doing it for fame or fortune. He is doing this because he loves the work. He just loves the work of filmmaking. So overall, I think that this was a very good move on his part against the Academy. I would like to hear what everyone else has to say about this below in the comments, ranging from Mel Gibson to Sylvester Stallone to Jon Voight really taking a stand against the Oscars. And Mel Gibson said it best. A lot of people out there haven't watched the Oscars in at least a decade. I mean, there's really a missing audience there, and they're just really trying to revive this presentation, this show, that really shouldn't even exist anymore. I think that celebrity worship is just ridiculous, and it needs to go, and this is a prime example of celebrity worship. Overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.